Welcome back in the garage. It's part 2 of our salvaging 2 old beat up doors. So please join me and you'll get to see what these are going to look like finished. Welcome to Tin Horse Restoration. Okay, Joan just said to me that she wants to put some input in here, so would you like to say something, sweetheart?
Yes, I would.
Okay.
I'd like to let people know that I'm his better half.
Okay, so. The seatbelt thing beeps. Even when I have the seatbelt on, I don't understand it. I don't think so. Auto parts delivery man. So first up, all right, we're down here at our front corner. I've chopped out what was rusted, and you'll see this little tab here. This is actually the proper length for our lip that sticks out along the bottom. But what we're missing is the rest of the lip. So you can see the straight edge right there. And this corner piece here runs right up into here. So I'm going to patch this area here with a patch. I'm going to fix that cut line that we've got there. And then we're going to weld a strip right along the bottom to get us to the other end, where we're going to patch the corner on the other end. The other end's actually quite decent. So anyway, you can see here, I still got a couple of pit holes there I got to fill in. But, we're definitely getting there. I haven't done the finish grinding yet. I spray it all in flat black. And then I take the grinder to it, smooth it all out. And then any of the black spots are obvious areas where I have a problem. This just helps an old guy with bad eyesight. That's all it does. Anyway, I'm going to start welding in here. Get this piece all put together. And then we'll work the bottom. And I'll be back to show you. I got a little square piece here. So I'm going to throw that in there like that. Mark that out for cuts. Put it in there, butt weld it in. And we'll be off to the races. Okay, see you in a bit. All right. There's a patch put in. That's our first go at it. I'm doing everything with a big angle grinder right now. I do have a small kind of 90-degree angle grinder. And once I get all these, because I went back at the corner and now you can see So I went back at the corner and now you can see all the little pit holes and everything that got to get filled in. So I'm going to do that one more time. Once I get this all together the way I'm happy with it. And you can see I burned through there. Still got to put some metal in there. So I'm going to tack all this back up. And then I'll go at it with the small grinder where it's a lot less work. Because 90% of it is the right shape. It's just a matter of filling in all the little holes and making it look pretty. So I'm going to go ahead. I've got me a strip here to do the bottom. So that's our extra piece. It's going to go on the bottom, and I got to build it up so that we're even with here along here. Okay, so we're going to go from here. And remember, we have to come out, if you go back to the first video, from here 3/4 of an inch. That's going to be our lip. So we got a nice straight edge on this one side. And we're going to hook it into that little lip that we bent there. Weld along there. Tack it for now. Get it the way we want it. We've got to push we've got a little bit of a bow. Everything's nice and straight here. And then it bows out here and then it goes back in there. And it's just because there's nothing holding it here. This is easily pushed in. And that won't happen until we get the front on. So anyway, I'll keep at her. Like I said, it's not about perfection. It's about being a good job, doing a good job, and making sure that your metal's the right thickness, and that you don't have any big gaping holes in it. And that when it's done, it's a nice straight body line. If you look here, I grinded that one right down when I was first working on it, and that edge looks just awesome. I haven't done anything with that one yet, but there you go. I've sprayed it with some black, and it looks fine. Down here needs to get the pit holes filled and sanded again, but I'm going to grind it with a 90 degree. It's just going to work better. It's a little easier to handle and a little less aggressive. That thing is way out of control when it first gets started. So, all right, let me get at it. Okay, I just wanted to share a little story. I thought it might find this interesting. The hardest thing that I find when I'm doing this is that I'm used to playing music in the background, nice and loud. And that keeps me, I don't know, it keeps me even. Do you know what I mean? And I can't do that when I'm shooting videos because turning it on and off becomes a royal pain in the ass. So, you know, those damn copyright laws. Anyway, ooh. It's a little chilly in the garage. Oh, so, you know, I'm shooting this just a few days before Halloween, and things have turned cold in southern Ontario. We've got 2 cold days coming up. It was raining today, but tonight it's supposed to drop down below the freezing mark. So, Colin's garage has gotten a little chilly. Okay, patched up the corner. Left that's a factory hole, so we've left that in there. Put some in behind. I haven't ground or cut off or anything yet, but I've got all the hole filled up. And then there's our piece all the way along the bottom. I just welded it into the valley, joined the two together. I'm gonna flip it over when I get it over and then see if I need to tack it on the back side because there's a little bit of an overlap there. I might cut it off. We'll see. But what's important is she's straight. Okay, and that's what's important. And I can still tinker with this. I can push this middle section, probably needs to go in like another 1/4 inch. But, you know, we've got our lip now. And all I did was, when I welded her in, I'll do this for you. It was more down like that at a 90 degree, and then I just tapped her up all the way along to line up with that angle that we've got swooping along here. We want that angle and this lip to marry up to that so that when we fold the edge of the skin over, it'll catch and it'll be good. We can still play with this after, but like this, change the angles of it. We've got all sorts of things. So I probably have to tinker with it, but what that's done is it made the bottom of the door really rigid. Anyway, rust is gone. I've still got some grinding to do, and I got one little last repair to do. Oh, terrible. Is up here, we have a little hole there, and then this whole corner needs that lip put on it. And I'm probably going to replace that rusty bit. So I'm not doing that tonight. It's still during the week for me, and I'm still working. So today was my go home early day, so I got quite a bit done. I was late getting started, but I'm quite happy with that. I still have to fix the speaker hole too. Luckily, I'm showing you this entire door because back here is the other door, but you'll see That whole bottom's done already on the back side. I still got to tinker with it, but I did all those corner repairs and everything. And you can't see that now because it's buried underneath there. But once I get this one done, it won't take much to put the front panel on that one. That one will go really quickly. So that's where we're at. We got the weekend coming up, so I'll probably finish this off. Get it all. I'll put a tiny little bit of filler on it. I don't like using filler, but to me, and here's the theory, okay? And you can do whatever you want. This is Colin's way of doing things. When I get to here, I can take the little 90-degree angle grinder, but I can go at that and I can make it nice and smooth and make it pretty. And if there is a little tiny pinhole left like there is right there, I can fill it up. So I can do all that, make it beautiful, and go, wow, look what I've done. That's really cool. Okay, no one's ever going to see it. This is starters. And what you've done what you want is this door to last a good long time and be structurally sound. And by grinding all that weld off and everything so that we can get it looking pretty, we're making the metal just thinner. We just keep making the metal thinner. And because there's no way, no matter how good your welding is or how good your grinding is, you're going to be taking some of the sheet metal away. And unless you're using a heavy gauge sheet metal, because I'm not, I don't know, I didn't look to see what, this is kind of the standard sheets I use for everything, because it's not too hard to bend, but it's certainly not as thick as the original door, but it'll do for the bottom. But, and this is where things get silly. Sorry, I had to fix my stool. Is, there's nothing wrong with taking, like there it is all ground down, right? And that metal's thin. I know it's thin. I don't like that. And then I look down here where I've left a couple of little humps and bumps in it. And if I go over that with some filler, I've got a thicker piece of metal underneath. And okay, so what? So I had to go over it with a little bit of filler. Big deal. I mean, I have to, these little hammer dents and stuff, I can put a dolly on the back and work all those out. No, I'm just going to run some filler over it. And like I do with everything, I only use filler to hide the little imperfections. I don't cake it on and only take half of it off. I don't want filler in my car, but I look at it like it's like a thick coat of primer in areas that need it. That's all. So that between that and some high hide primer, that'll look just fine. And if I can't wait to pull the other one out and show it to you, because I did it some time ago, and it's all sprayed in high hide and done the exact same way, and there's no filler on it whatsoever, and it looks great. And I'm gonna touch it up with a little bit of filler, but anyway, these guys that get all panicky about using a tiny little bit of body filler, grow up, really. Just grow up. Well, if you were really good and you were as good at me at welding or whatever, then you wouldn't need to do that. Oh, this is a hobby. It's not it's not $150,000 71 429 Super Cobra Jet. So let's just keep that in mind. And if sometime down the road, that I get to live that long, I may have to redo this car one day or something, then we'll deal with the doors then. And maybe we'll buy new ones. Maybe we'll have picked some up. I'm picking up a set of doors on the weekend that I don't need, that probably would have saved me from doing all this work. But, you can never have enough Mustang parts. Anyway, it's bedtime for old Colin. My wife's on the late shift tonight, so I'm going to go in and I'll probably have a coffee and I'll watch, my 30 minutes of TV and spend some time in Marketplace, and fall asleep with the phone on my chest. That'd be a regular night for Colin. So I can get up at 5:30 and be auto parts delivery man. Anyway, that's where we're at for today. So I'll be back in a few seconds. Whoosh, whoosh. I see other guys, they just whoop like this and then they pull their hand back out. What is that? Like, is that supposed to fake me out or something? I don't understand. Anyway, for you, I'll be back in a few seconds. For me, it's nappy time. All right. Colin needs his beauty sleep again, Can't be this good looking and not get some sleep. Anyway, I can't wait to show this to you all done and to prove to you that you can do this. This is not that hard. I learned watching Fitzy. Fitzy to me was my hero. He really was. There's other guys. Make It Custom, Carl. You watch Make It Custom with Carl. He's out in British Columbia. Carl is a master at seamless joints and working metal and getting shapes that you could only dream of. Carl is a true master. I love his show. But I'm in awe when I watch his talents. And if I spent every day doing this for the next 5 years, I might get that good. I have no interest in that. I do just fine for a hobby. I keep looking at that because that looks nice and straight to me. I don't know. Does it look nice and straight to you? It looks pretty good to me. So, it's not a 10-footer. It's a 10-incher. And that's good enough for me. Okay, but yeah, Carl, Make It Custom. Great guy. Love watching his show. Unbelievable talent. And Fitzy out on the East Coast. Love Fitzy. I owe Fitzy a great big thank you because Fitzy taught me how to weld by watching this show. He really did. That was my, I used to watch Carl and dream, but I'd watch Fitzy and I'd go, Fitzy, I completely understand what you're doing. Basic tools, and you just get at her, eh? And Fitzy, don't ever take that Canadian Tire hat off. That's got to be your trademark, buddy. I love the fact that you're wearing that Canadian Tire hat. Okay, so 3, 2, 1. I'll be back in a sec. Bye. All right, we're back at her, and I cleaned up. I did some grinding on the other side, just cleaned it up, flipped it over, double checked everything. I took the panel and I put it back on to the scribed line that we had in the front, and then I marked my lip along the bottom and cut it off. So right now we should fit perfectly. And we still have this to fill in here and replace. I don't know if I'm going to replace this now. I took a look at the backside and it looks pretty good. So I think I'm just going to sand it and clean up the front. But anyway, we're going to, just to get everything fitting properly, we're going to tack this front piece into place here around the lip and then flip it back over. And we'll be able to get a really good idea how much we need to do here, make that work. So let me tack this, get back, flip it over, and then I'll come back to you. Okay, there we go. We tacked it on the front, popped it into place, and that's ready to be folded over. It fits perfectly. It's nice and straight and even. So what that leaves us with is we got to fill this in down here. And if you look here, everything lines up really, really well. There you go. Once I do the final cut on the front, those two will butt up together. And we just have this now to fill in. And we're going to remove whatever we don't like. So what we're going to do is cut a patch to fit in here. I don't know whether I'm going to do 2 pieces or 1. So let me think about that. And I might do a long strip here and then another strip up here and then by seaming it here, I can curve this up and curve that up. I gotta think about the best way to do that. And that'll only give me like a 2-inch seam, which I can easily deal with. So then we have that to fill back in. We can always do that when we put the front back on. Anyway, she's looking pretty good. Once we get some filler on the little humpy bumpy imperfections, there's a hole there I gotta fill. But all these little hammer dents and stuff just need a little bit of filler. Clean it up and it's gonna look really nice. But what's key is if you look down here, distance is even all the way down, so the door's going to close up really good, and I'm quite happy. So let me get back to you once I got a patch cut for her. So if you love me, let me go. Run away before I know. Oh, sorry. I figured out how to run my music and still shoot my videos. So, but the problem is, I'm singing it in my head when I come back. Yeah, that was a little slip knot. All right, so there's 2 pieces cut. Slipped them in there, bent them up. I went the easy way here. I did a little bend down here. And I just made little fingers out of that. And we're going to cut around and tack and grind. That'll work just fine. This metal here, I know it looks a little rusty and everything, but it's really nice on the inside, and that's a thick part of the door. So that'll probably clean up, and I don't have any pinholes or anything, so we're just going to leave it. Just clean the rust off it. So let me pull the front back off. Well, I may leave it on just to do the first couple of tacks, and then I'll pull it off. And I got to grind that rust off of there, clean all this up. These need to be tinkered with a little bit. I got to cut out the underneath from here. I can make marks now because I know how big my patches are going to be. Anyway, you get the idea. Back to Slipknot. Zombie, zombie, now in your head. Oh, there we go. All right. Just using the magnet to hold that little strip on, married up with the seam there. Gonna tack that into place. Always tack first. Tack it into place, and then I'll tack this one in, and I'll go from there. All right, tucked her in behind, butted it up there. Tack, tack, tack. I gotta knock this tack down a little bit because I'm making that natural hump, so I've got it tucked in underneath, and then I just bent the fingers up behind, and I'm going to fill this with weld, and that should be good enough. Now I could have cut and butt that and tried to bend it around and everything, and to be honest, I know how to do all that. I just got lazy. I want to get this finished, and I'm not concerned about that being a problem. I'm gonna melt most of that, so let me get at it. I'm gonna show you how it looks. The important thing is, I don't know if you can see that, but we're straight right down here, straight down here. I marked the bend right there. So, and there's this little natural rise that I cut off of right here, that I cut off of this piece. That's got to be a little, it comes in, up, and then over, and humps over that. But anyway, you get the idea. All right, there she is, all on, filled up. Dealt with the cut. Come around here, banged her straight, it's nice and straight down there. So we just got to grind this all off, and I don't think we got any problems on the back, so, but we're definitely straight. So that's all that matters. I want the skin to go on. We don't want to be tapping it after the fact, so let me grind all this up, and then we can fold some of these edges, put a couple of tacks, and then flip her over and do the seam along the front, and we'll be almost done. All right, I just put a little bit of steel pipe in here just to keep it even all the way down. That's another trick for getting her straight. We know our panel that we bought is straight. We know that bar's straight. So we slide that in there as we fold. And guess what? The bottom of the door will be perfectly straight. Even if we've got a little woo in that piece, you know, it's going to force itself out if you do it in sections. So anyway, there's my corner. We got some of the natural humps and bumps. I just took the 4-inch grinder to it, and I got to clean it up some more. But anyway, it all fits. There's our natural edge. There's our butt edge. There's our piece through here. So we're good. That's going to look really nice. So we're going to start bending the door around here and tack it in a couple of spots. And that way we can work on the front. We still got some work to do. We got to patch up a couple of things. But anyway, you're getting the idea. We're almost there. Okay, so I had the square pipe in this end, and I just started to bend that around, and I bended this edge in a little bit. So we're snug on that corner now for fitting wise. And then I put this in here, squeezed her down, and what that did was that pushed on the bottom of the door and pushed it in because it was out a little bit in the middle. And that was just from welding and stuff like that. So now it's like perfect. It's exactly 3/4 of an inch all the way down, which if you go way back to the first video and I put that tape measure on it, 3/4 of an inch was exactly where it was supposed to be. So I'm just going to bend this corner in now, and that should hold her until we get her all tacked into place around the front. Okay, there you go. I bent it in about halfway. The lip, I just hammered it over. I don't want to squeeze it all the way down yet because we might have to tinker with it. But we want to make sure before we start welding the front that everything's straight. Everything's going to fit good. And then we can always bend these back up and tinker after when we've got the front welded. So anyway, you're getting the idea. But you know what? It's turned out pretty nice. I'm pretty proud of that. Not ashamed at all. Anybody that laughed at my welds or anything like that, good on you. I guess you're like a pro and you do this all day long. Anyway, that's looking mighty fine. Push it. When I squeeze it down, I'm going to push it in a tiny little bit more in the middle, but it's pretty good. That 3/4 inch square stock fits in that gap all the way to the bottom. It's just when we tack the lip in, I'll do it in the middle. It has a tendency to want to just bow out right about here. It comes out about 1/4 inch, 1/2 inch. It's not the metal or my bends. It's just the way it is, probably from the welding, but it'll push back in. Anyway, let's flip her over and start the important welding. Okay, we got her back over on the front, and it's time to cut and butt. And then we'll fold the edges in. We did lose, we lost that one and that one tapping on it. So I got to pull it back and clamp it or tack it again before I start cutting. So anyway, when I get set up, we'll start cutting and butting. Well, I got caught with the radio on. Oh, I knew it would get to me. Anyway, there we go. Cut and butt. So we spread them out. We're nice and level. We may have to do some tapping on the back as we go, but they're pretty good. It's nice and straight, right on the original scribe line, and we're hooked in around the bottom. And we've got a natural, a little bit of a, I mean, clearly we're gonna have to put some Bondo on this. Everybody does. I'm not Mr. No Bondo. That's for the guys that do this for a living and spend every day doing it. But that's a damn good job. It's nice and straight. And we're meeting up really nice at the end. So I got to grind along here now so that I don't have any paint in my weld. But I'll clean that up and then I'll just start tacking away. And about 14 hours from now, I should have a seam all done and ground off. Okay, just kidding. Let me get at her. Okay, you can see here, I'm just tacking every inch. And we're gonna go back in and fill in the gaps in between. I work my way from one end to the other, leaving them an inch apart, and we don't get any heat buckle. And if you see that, we're flat. And we'll worry about hammering and bending that edge, squeezing her down. Once we got her all welded, and we can hammer on it. But there's no bow in that. That's looking good. So I'm gonna work this end, and then I'm gonna work my way down. I do like 12-inch increments. I've tacked the whole other end, so we're not gonna get any buckling or warping. Anyway, you see where we're going with this. Okay, so we're pounding on our folds now. You can see down here, folded that over, and our edge looks really nice. We're nice and straight here. Folded our corner, and now we're squeezing her down all the way along. And here's what it looked like. I had a slight bend on it, so it's hooked. And if you see down here, we pounded her in there. See how we're nice and straight with the original edge? Come down here to the corner, we're folding her. So what I'm doing is I'm just putting, got some square stock here I'm using as a, I have like a dolly or something for this, but I don't know where it is. Anyway, I'm just using this piece of square stock to hammer it down. And I do it gradually. I bend it from one end down to here, and then I go back and I do it again. So let me keep at her, and I'm almost done. So hang on, I'll show it to you when I'm finished. Okay, so I finished tapping, and there you go, all the way along from one end to the other. And there it is, folded down here. Now that's as far as we could go, because clearly this is going to have to get adjusted when it goes on the car. So there's no point in grinding it or bending it or doing anything else to it. What's important is that we're straight all the way down there. And now our door has a brand new bottom. So I'm going to flip this over, do a little bit of grinding on the front, and I won't be doing any filler work to this right now, because if I have to hammer on it more once it's on the car, I can't hammer on it with filler in it. So I have to spot weld and tack our strip all the way along, but I'm not doing that until I've got it all where I want it. So, and then we'll get her all We'll seam seal along the bottom here to hide the weld, and add a little putty to the corners here. I've still got some pinholes to fill in. I gotta clean up that, but you get the idea. That's 90% of it done. So I'm gonna flip over, do a little grinding on the front, make sure we have them buckled over there, and we should be all good. Okay, took grinder to it. Grinded it down, sprayed it with some matte black that's drying. And we're gonna put a skim coat of filler on there. We do have a tiny little bit of a valley. I definitely had to, I had a challenge because it's cold in here. And so as I heated it up, it actually put quite a valley in it as I was working, and then it went away. It didn't fully come out. And that's the challenge you have when you're working in a really cold environment, because you're starting off with the metal shrunk, and then you're applying heat to it, it grows even more. But anyway, I'm happy with that. I'm happy with my lines on the edge. I got a lot of tinkering to do and a lot of work to do once it's on the car. But we got some nice straight edges there. I'm gonna have to bash that bottom in to make sure it fits. Get her straight. Got a lot of sanding to do, but you get the idea. So just remember, this is not a how-to video. This is an inspiration video. I am a hobbyist. I do this part-time, and I taught myself how to do this. I'm showing you this to inspire you to watch Fitzy like I did, and don't be scared, and do it on your own. That's how you save money. That's how you build a car for less than $10,000. You got to be willing to save doors like this and put the work in and the time in. And if you're willing to do that, and you're going to learn as you go, right? You can see there's a tiny little bit of a divot there, but that edge is pretty good. I might have to go in and give it a couple of little tacks to sort it out. But if you look at that edge there, I'm pretty happy with that. There's just enough of a valley to hide the weld. And I didn't grind all the weld off. Like I said, why make the metal super thin? I don't need to. I can live with a little bit of filler on there. If there's 1/8 of an inch of filler on there to hide all that, I'm good with that. You feather that out, that door's going to look perfect. What's more important is we have a brand new solid metal bottom that doesn't have any Bondo in it, and we have an underneath that's not going to have any rust in it. And that's, at the end of the day, that's what we're after. We're after something we could be proud of, something when you look down at it doesn't have any ripples or bows in it, and and something you did quite affordably on your own. Anyway, my last shot of this today will be to slap some Bondo on it to show you what it takes to feather that out, and then we'll be all done for now. These doors are going to have to be something that we come back to once we've got Project Bruno back, turned right side up, and we can fit the doors. I've got work to do on the brackets. What I do have is, hang on a second, let me go outside and show you something. All right, we're off on a little adventure this morning. We're on our way to see Ron on Marketplace. I got connected with Ron on Marketplace. Last weekend, I was down, picked up a couple of fender aprons from Ron. And when I got there, he had 2 doors, and I didn't have the cash with me, so we're headed back down today to pick up the doors. Not that I need them, but you can never have enough Mustang parts. So, Ron's a great guy, and really impressed with with his setup there and everything he's doing. He specializes in Fox body stuff, but he basically deals in all your Mustangs. So he's got some beautiful cars up on the hoist. I was very envious of what he was doing, and very talented guy. So looking forward to seeing Ron again today and sharing a few stories and picking up my doors. So join me, another 10-horse adventure. This is this week's haul. 2 doors from Ron that I met on Marketplace. A lot of surface rust, but solid bottoms, and we may end up using these. They do need some minor repair. There's some holes on the front, but we clean that rust up. It's just surface rust, but the bottoms are, they're in really good shape. There's the metal that holds the rubber in. I still have to add that to the doors that I'm working on. So like I said, we may end up tinkering with these and using these. I only paid $50 each for them, so a little bit of work doesn't scare me. Anyway, when we get to these, I'll put them in an upcoming video, and I'll show you, cleaning them up and fixing them. But I definitely think we might swap these out. We'll see. There's quite a bit of rust on the inside of one of them. This one, this one looks fine. That I can deal with. Unfortunately, they've been stored outside, so, and there is a couple of patches that are going to be required on the front. Definitely, you can see that corner's going to need some work on the front, but that doesn't scare me. It's a lot less work. So we have to, we're going to have to rework our hinges. We'll pull these ones, throw them in the sandblaster, and we'll probably need new bushings for them before we hang them on the car. But anyway, we'll see. We will see. Okay, there we go. Get a healthy little skim coat on there. Most of that's coming off, but that's all we'll be doing for now. We'll sand that, rough sand that, spray it with some epoxy primer, keep the moisture out of it, and then, once we have a look at those other doors, we'll decide if we're going to be using these ones or keeping them for another project. Or maybe they'll end up on Marvin, because to be honest, I have no idea what the doors are like on Marvin. They're not showing any bubbling or signs of rust, but they were completely repaired at one time, and it was back in the 90s. And I know the guy that did it brazed all the patch panels in the old-fashioned way before MIG welding. So he obviously did a good job, because they've lasted all this time, but I've always felt like they were full of Bondo. They don't have that, the key to a really nice door is when you close it, it has that tinny sound. And that's really what you're after. You want that sound of tin when you shut the door, like a brand new door. And you can always tell a door that's full of Bondo, because when you shut it, it makes a thud. And so these might end up on Marvin. So we'll see. And if not, they'll end up on the next project. So I'm toying with that. Anyway, I'm going to throw in my little blurb today on picking up the doors with Ron. And I didn't tape Ron, but sorry, I'm showing my age. I didn't shoot any content with Ron. I'll be back though at another day to do that with him. I just wasn't prepared today, so I want to get some questions for him, and I want him to show what he does in some of his projects. So I feel like I've made a friend there with Ron, and I'll definitely be back to see him. I told him I'll be dropping in to say hello periodically. So anyway, that's going to end the video for today. And this is, in this temperature, it's going to take a little while for this to set up, and it's time for me to go in and have some dinner. So anyway, a successful attachment of a panel. I still have the other door to finish, where I have to put the front piece on the other door too. So we'll see. I'm going to pull Ron's doors out tomorrow out of the truck, and we'll have a good look at those. And I'll update you on the door situation on our next video. Until then, get at her, eh? All right. I've been banging away and prying away at this, and I folded her back up. The whole floor is there. It's just crunched. And you can see back in here how that bracket is bent. So it's pulling it down. Everything's pulling it down. This damage here is all pulling it down. It's not going to get out. If I could get that out, I could almost fold this up flat with the hammer and a dolly. But that crease isn't coming out.